Okay, we'll call this meeting to order and pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have everybody, but Greg and Kyle. Oh, yeah, Kyle. You have the minutes in front of you. March 10.
Oh, this is where.
Oh, yeah, so the agenda date is wrong, that should be April. So you are right, Tom, it was the March 10th meeting minutes. I forgot to change that on the.
Okay, yeah, on this one, it's 10, so.
So the minutes are right, the agenda wrong.
Any questions or corrections? No. And the minutes stand as read.
Need a motion second.
We need a motion. I can't declare that again. All right, you guys are in charge. Sherry moves that we approve the minutes from March 10, and Jacindy seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Okay. Pickleball courts. So at our last meeting, we talked about making the courts dual serving, as include a tennis court. It would kind of go perpendicular to the 3 pickleball courts. I've talked to our contractors, and they would, and we found out we would have to make the fencing 8 foot high on the short ends to catch errant tennis balls. We were looking at a total cost increase of $3,054.38. When I talked about this with town council last night, because I think this would probably have to come from our town's riverboat fund, our savings. They at that time, I didn't quite have total dollar amounts. It was closer to $12,000, and they weren't interested and didn't think it was worthwhile to add the tennis courts at that time. Being 3,000, they might be more open to that. The town council has a special meeting scheduled for next Monday. So I thought I would ask you guys if you think it's worthwhile to ask them, now that we've got some, it's a little bit cheaper than we thought, to ask them to reconsider that, or do you guys think it's worthwhile to have the dual purpose courts? And I do have a kind of like a drawing for like a striping layout for how that would look. Trying to help you. I can't pull that up.
Is it email?
It was emailed.
It doesn't delay anything on our end. That's great.
It doesn't delay anything.
Yeah.
No one said. They didn't seem to think it was a huge concern.
Why is the price difference 12,000 and 3,000?
Good question. I'm gonna start. Okay. So when I first asked them, it was a $12,000 increase add to the contract for fencing, and that would include going from a 4-foot fence around the entire perimeter of the court to an 8-foot. Once we've looked into it, I found you only have to do it on the short ends. So then with only going to the short ends, they would take just under $2,300 off that price. We've also made some tweaks in the stormwater infrastructure. So there was a concrete head wall that would go at the end of the pipe. That's more typical for like roadway type stuff. I don't, I've talked with engineers and the contractors, and we didn't think it was necessary for like this part pipe setting. We could just put kind of like a metal end piece on the pipe. So that was a $6,700 decrease in our contract price for that one. So either way, I think we're gonna get that. I think we should go ahead and make that decision, not, for the stormwater, we'll say the 6,700. So the total contract change is the $3,054.38. If we wanted to add the 8-foot ends on the court.
It seems like we're putting this much money into it for just $3,000 more to make it multi-purpose.
Yeah.
It's worth the ask at the very least.
I can say, I don't know that there was anyone in particular that's came up to me like requesting tennis courts. I can say, but when I submitted the grant application, one of the I don't know if it's the board member or the director for the Dearborn Community Foundation was like, why don't you guys do tennis courts too? Like, so that was kind of when I got thinking about it. And I do think it came up in our park master plan. I think it came up in the one, I think it was low on the list, but it does seem like it was in there.
Well, I know there was a lot of talk about making it multi-purpose between basketball and pickleball more than pickleball and tennis, which seems natural. But okay, but another thing that we talked about with the pickleball and basketball is we didn't want to move the nets all the time and that sort of thing. So we're going to get back to that issue again.
So what I've talked with the city of Batesville. They have pickleball courts and they have portable nets. So they just they leave it inside the fencing area. And people just kind of wheel them back and forth. They said they haven't had any problems with it. So I'm willing to try it. But my thought was that if you look, so like this would be and we'll talk about the color scheme shortly too. But so this darker blue would obviously be the tennis court. This black line would be the net for the tennis court. What we do would put a removable post at these corners here. So they would pretty much be set and then we would have two temporary pickleball nets kind of off to the side. So if someone wants to play tennis, they can play tennis. If no one's playing tennis and someone wants to play pickleball, they can just wheel a net into place.
So even
Off the
if
wheels.
the tennis net is in place, you could still have two
Yes.
pickleball
Yes.
games going on.
So that was my thought. And if we ever wanted to use the third net, like if if we're 6 months into it, we're like, hey, no one's playing tennis. It's only pickleball court, like we can take the post out, put it in the shed and then wheel the third pickleball net out there.
I think that sounds good. Now there will be a 4-foot fence on the long side, on each long side, with a gate or gates on either side.
So
And then an 8-foot fence if we spend the extra $3,000 on the ends.
So there would be a corner panel too. I guess it helps kind of firm it up. So it'd be like just around, one probably 4-foot panel here, and then it would wrap around another 4-foot panel or 8-foot, 4-foot wide section.
The 8-foot would come
So
around.
it'd be,
Yeah.
just to kind of firm up that, and that would happen on both sides.
That makes sense.
And then I think it would, I think we could always landscape or something around the lawn to kind of hide it, and then you still got that shorter fence to make it a better visual.
And then the pickleball is going to be on the inner side, so you'll eventually have basketball on the other side. You're not risking those balls if they do go out the sides, go in the road and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a good decision.
There you go.
That's why we did
We knew that was. Okay, well, what, you want to go ahead and if everybody agrees and the council isn't upset about the $3,000 add, $3,055, we would go ahead and do that. I agree.
Maybe I can talk to Jerry Caldwell too and see kind of how serious and how, if he's ready to formalize his commitment to our parks this year or not. and try to get that information ahead of our meeting on Monday.
When is that? When is his term up?
I think the election's this fall, so I think he'll probably be January 1.
Oh, okay, all right, it's not coming yet, so.
So he'll finish up the year, I believe. Or you guys think it's worthwhile to kind of try to include the tennis and,
Yes, I think please ask.
You agree, Sherry?
okay, so I will do that.
I don't think it's something, yeah, it's something, if we could get it, it would make everything better.
Do you want a motion for that, since it's a,
Sure.
it's a
Yes.
financial change to your plans?
But if somebody's playing tennis, just.
Then there's no.
You
pickleball.
can't, if someone's playing tennis, you can't play pickleball.
So if you go and meet somebody at 6 o'clock, for pickleball, and somebody's playing tennis.
I think
We talked
we're gonna
about,
talk about rules, and I think we're gonna put there's gonna be a limit, a time limit, a courtesy limit on.
Gentleman's agreement.
You
sort of thing,
can't
yeah.
play tennis for hours and hours and hours.
It's like what
finish
they-
your match and,
Yeah.
share the court.
It's like what they do at the batting cages, where there's like outside the batting cages, there's a thing where you can hang your bat saying like, I've got next, and you could do something like that or whatever,
Okay, but there's options for 3 people to play pickleball. For 3
Yeah.
Yes,
If someone.
Well,
If
come
we
along and
remove
they-
that center net, but that is like somebody's going to physically go remove it.
yeah,
The-
I think that
the
would be the
pickleball-
town move,
yeah.
removing it.
So 2 pickleball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If we came up, somebody came up and said, I wanna do a tournament.
Yeah.
We would
Yeah, we
definitely.
Move it for a weekend or,
The suggestion last night from Josh, our police chief, was that we have a pickleball tournament to finance the fact.
Yeah.
Then $8,000 for the extra fence. Which is not such an outrageous idea.
Is it Aurora or Lawrenceburg
Springdale.
tournament? Springdale?
Preston's in charge of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
I just saw that. on
I'm looking for a
Facebook.
fundraising opportunity for Lifetime, maybe we should start pickleball stuff.
That's,
Yeah, just call me something, but I got pickled or something.
I also saw somebody was
if
giving,
Bryson's doing it, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
someone was offering private pickleball instructions too.
We need, yeah. All right, so did we took care of that?
So then,
Find that and post it on
You want a
Facebook.
motion and a
Oh,
second?
we didn't have a motion on, it. I know we need a motion to ask council for the extra $3,055.
I motion to ask council for $3,000 to up our fencing.
I
And a
second.
second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's passed.
and the next item would be, we've gotta come up with colors, what color scheme we want it. So I will, so kind of, I'll flip back and forth between this, so keep that kind of in mind, so you can see there's, I guess there's 4 colors, so there's the green, the light blue, the dark blue, and then the white. Okay, so then this is kind of the available options for the tennis, or for the supplier. And then I would also, our contractor, Dave O'Mara, they did the Greendale tennis courts. They did provide a photo. I'll. Here is the color that they chose. So again, they don't have kind of as, I guess I'll call it as complicated of the striping. But they went with just the green and kind of that tan color. I think it was called desert sand or something like that. And maybe I should print this out for you guys.
Just. I would think that if the colors of the 2 colors of the courts, the background colors would be like, let's say the blue and the purple, or what they're calling light blue and something within that same darkness, and then all of the lines could be yellow and white or something like that. So that the lines would show up, but the difference between the lines would be obvious, yellow and red.
Let's go back to this. So do you think, like the blue that's
So
the
keep that
tennis
blue
court?
as is.
Yep,
Keep that blue and do.
do we like the green around the outside, or would you rather have like that sandstone color? I don't know that I,
Yeah,
don't think I like
green
green
and
either.
blue.
I'm not sure the sandstone is not getting dirty,
Yeah,
dingy.
I know,
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
just
the light,
thinking
or
about-
the ice blue, but
I did like the ice.
I like the ice blue with that blue, but, maybe for the striping,
Striping, yes, yes,
Not
there you
for-
go.
it's kind of how it's shown there.
Yeah, my mind was going to like blue and gold just because of Dillsboro
Mhm.
colors, but I don't know that it has to be that.
We could, but we could do the ice blue for the striping.
I was thinking because of this, like it's like a.
It's got two
Oh,
different
yeah.
colors, and the water tower too
Yeah.
has the same.
Yeah, that's
right.
color scheme.
So if you did like the ice blue with,
On the outskirts and then line it with
on the
yellow and
striping.
white.
On the
I think if you
striping.
put too much of the ice blue, it's just gonna look dirty.
I think it's maybe the ice blue for the striping on one of the courts and then the yellow or the gold for the striping on the
For
other,
the-
like the pickleball would be the gold and the
Yeah.
tennis court would be the like ice blue, yes. So, okay, that, and if that's the case, then those are lighter colors that are gonna do the striping, we can go with the dark blue and one other dark color with the gray.
I do kind of like the idea of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I don't know what else would,
I can print these off.
So if it was like, we're
Let's do- let's
replacing
print
the
this.
green on there with the gray, is that what you're saying?
oh, no, you're.
Oh.
I was thinking like the dark blue like it is and then gray on the outsides.
Yeah,
And then-
replacing the
and
green.
do
Where the
stripe.
green is.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and then. What did we say? The light blue, the light
Yellow or
blue
white.
for the
Or-
pickleball and then the yellow or the gold for the tennis.
What would you give right now for a Photoshop?
I know.
Fill bucket, you know, or even paint, we could just
Yeah, I'm
fill
sure
bucket.
they can like,
But,
we can throw out ideas and they can show us maybe different combinations of it, so we can get a little bit better visual.
yeah, I think, gray, the blue that's already there, and then the two light colors, the yellow and the light blue stripes.
They can at least give us a mock-up of that and see what that looks like.
Right.
You guys decide now that I printed it?
Well, I was kind of saying that it would be nice if they can show us a mock-up. I mean, we're kind of thinking like, leave that blue, it as is up there.
Mhm.
Outlined with the gray, replace the green with the gray.
Okay.
And then the striping between this like ice blue and yellow.
Okay.
And see
I like that.
if they can do a mock-up and see what that looks like.
You have preference on like which one would be ice blue, which one would be yellow? Pickleball yellow, we think, or?
That might be better because it's gonna be used more.
Well,
So the
when you're gonna have it
pickleball
against
lays
the
over
gray.
the gray, so
Yeah.
what's gonna look,
I'm almost thinking like you do the blue and yellow on the whole court together, so then it kind of pulls together that blue and yellow concept. And then do your ice blue outside on the ones that are gonna run this way outside the court. I don't know, probably just need to get a mock up and see what it's really gonna look like.
Where's the gray?
It's like in place of the green. And they might come back to and say, oh, we don't recommend that because of, you know,
So we're just using yellow and the ice blue for striping.
yeah.
I think those colors all blend well.
Let's see if I can find some examples. I can't find anything that's. I should grab a couple of your pens, just send it. Okay, so just so go over one more time what we're thinking.
here's what I
Oh,
was thinking. And I might have to strike it wrong, but
so outside would be the gray.
Yeah.
The tennis striping, yellow. Pickleball striping, ice blue. And then the blue, for the kind of tennis background. And I can see if we can get a mock-up.
Yeah, I think a mock-up would be helpful.
Say that again.
So the tennis background will be blue.
That's okay.
The outside would be the dove gray.
I see, great.
The tennis striping would be the yellow. And then the pickleball striping will be the ice blue.
Is that blue there, is that light blue or is that blue?
I would think blue, but I'm not positive. I can see if I can get confirmation of that.
I think the yellow might show up better with the dove gray. And ice blue. Either one would work on the
Flip
blue.
it on the stripes. Yeah, you can maybe ask what ask
If
them
you
to flip
did
the
the ice
stripe
blue on
colors.
the dove gray, it just kind of is.
So maybe flip the striping. I can see if they can show it's like a mock-up both ways. And I'll ask them like, when's our last, like how long can we do it? I can't have to decide. Because if we do, their schedule. So the original schedules show that they would be mobilizing and starting on Monday, May 4th. But they wouldn't be doing asphalt until Wednesday, May 13th. So our next meeting would be Tuesday, May 12th. And then they wouldn't be doing the coating until Monday, June 15th. So I would think we should have enough time, because I think that they like the asphalt to cure a little bit before they start striping. So I'll double check on that.
Special meeting.
Right, yeah, it would be a short one.
Use that by an email vote.
Yeah, they needed to know before the day before. They can do the asphalt.
I think we're pretty set on the colors, it's just
Yep.
which way it ends up looking better when you.
Yep,
see
and I
all
think,
that.
I think you definitely like the blue and the gray.
Mhm.
That's just maybe just the striping. I don't think it's going to change the quantities a whole lot.
So we don't,
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at
gray for the whole thing,
Mhm.
yellow or blue for the center. I didn't get all of
that.
that.
Yes.
And then the 3/4 would be just the light blue.
Mhm. Yeah.
And these are probably not accurate according to these.
Right,
Good
but
idea
it's,
then, yeah.
it's ideas. Nice.
See, I was thinking the yellow would show up better on the gray,
Yeah, flip them.
to flip the lines. That's just my opinion. Tom can
Work
make
your
it,
magic.
yeah, work your magic. It might not look great.
And this is a pretty bright yellow, so I'm not,
Vision impaired people like me. This is what I want.
Might be better.
I'm happy with either. That might be
and I
better.
think since pickleball courts have been used more,
That's another thing. I mean, we could fill in the pickleball courts and leave the tennis as striping. I don't know if we want to go down.
well, I kind of thought of that
Oh.
first too. Fill in that the pickleball courts would be
Complete.
the ones that would be filled in as rectangles and the tennis would be overstriped.
Which might,
Might make more sense. if we put them-
So if they don't approve it, what will we do?
We'll have to talk about this again, or we could talk about, I mean, if we make a decision tonight, if we could. I think it'd be easier change if we go this other direction and it'd basically just be taking the outlines out. Possibly.
Yeah. Well, if we do something where the pickleball, and we could do something outside here, outside of pickleball, different color. And then not do a color on the tennis courts so that it's just transparent. And
I like
only,
that.
only the stripes, only that blue stripe, and it'll be, you know, that all of the other stuff, the stripes, only the blue stripes would be.
I
I like
like
that
that.
very
Highlights the pickleball.
So
Which is what we want.
the tennis court's kind of ghost,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So then the inside stripes of the pickleball court would be the yellow gold color too. Right,
Yeah,
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 okay.
all the striping in pickleball will be yellow, all the striping on the tennis court will be
You need to.
the ice
Here,
blue.
so,
I'll turn on my picture.
yeah, just send that
Or
to
you
me,
could
Tom.
email it.
Yeah, that works. I'll let it fix it.
Yeah, I like the idea of the tennis court, kind of is transparent.
I agree.
There will be plenty of lines to see.
Yeah.
Sort of like the soccer fields on the football fields.
Yeah.
I am continuously confused by that. I always think that it's out and then they go there.
Yeah,
All right.
Great. That honestly was the main things that I had for this evening. The other things are just kind of placeholders. Like I said, I haven't done anything with the rules. I think we talked about that. I don't even know if that's gonna be some part of this contract. It might just be a sign we order and hang on the fence.
And it might be something that's gonna change over time, so we don't want to put a lot of money into a really
I'm sure we
nice
can-
carved sign or something.
I'm sure we could buy a nice sign and have it made at, locally somewhere
Yeah,
for
just get a metal
$100
sign that's-
or less.
Right.
And then we can mount it. So we'll just kind of keep that in mind. I might see if I can't try to have at the next meeting, actually have it typed up. We can talk about that. I did, on the new business, I just had Park Walking Trail. I did get a complaint from someone just kind of concerned about the trail kind of falling apart a little bit, getting bumpy with some roots kind of pushing it up, and then so there's a bad spot actually by where we're gonna have a temporary construction access. So there's a piece that is gonna get tore up as part of this project. They're gonna kind of do gravel over it. So I might have them just kind of move that over and you tear that one bad spot
Just
out. So then when they replace it, we'll replace that, taking
And then
care of
the
that.
truck driver's gonna ask every time, why are you putting it over here? when I need it over there?"
Yeah.
That's a good thought, though. Thank
So-
you for thinking
And where they're
ahead.
gonna access and everything isn't gonna be messing up like the soccer fields and stuff like that,
I
right?
will show you. No, it's not. They'll be coming off
You don't
Oak
have to
Street.
show us, that's all I needed.
It'll be coming off
No, it's
Oak
not.
Street. There's a pipe that comes under the trail. They'll be staying on that pickleball corner side of that pipe. That's it. Okay, so they,
so we're gonna take the fence down and put it back up.
we'll probably take a section out.
Will they won't have
Well,
to
we
take a
talked
post
about
out?
taking a couple
They
sections
might have to
out
take
anyway
a
for
post out,
access.
so they might, yeah, I wouldn't think they'd need to take more than one now.
We talked about taking one out
Right, we
anyway,
did.
so.
We had
did
talked
talk
about that, yeah.
As staff, and we're planning on trying to do that, so we're the two sections,
Yeah.
basically on each side.
Yeah.
And then I put the Tempest soccer schedule on, I think that's something I just emailed
Mhm.
I think
last time, so I just thought it might be nice to just have it on the record. That they shared their schedule for what they'd like, requesting to use the park, or just thought if we maybe just approve it.
And there were no conflicts with state soccer, and one of the Saturdays is the same day as opening day, but their game is in the evening, and opening days throughout the day, so.
Yeah. So I'd just be looking for a motion to allow Tempest to use the soccer fields for
Yeah.
their scheduled
Do you have
games
that
for
motion?
26.
The motion to let Tempest use.
Mhm.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, thank you. Motion carries.
And then the cooler for the soccer, I think we may have talked about this
We did.
last
Okay.
meeting. I've since talked with Cammy and because Main Street uses it for the terrorist team. They're all for kind of putting in for the Ross Foundation grant. And I don't know if it makes more sense for the park board to submit that application or if Main Street submits the application. I don't know that it really matters. And I think she was gonna talk to Greg too, since I think he does it for the soccer, right? So I mean, it would.
Soccer has a few other things that we were hoping to put a request in for, so.
Okay.
So
I thought
Someone other than
maybe,
soccer can do it, and
maybe,
then if
I
it's
mean,
all
you
of us,
guys
that would be
get
ideal.
a letter of support or
Yeah.
something, for sure.
I'd like to see Care Team or Munch Lunch do that. It's actually Main Street.
Right.
That would do because then we're sort of quasi governmental and I'd rather come from a total nonprofit.
So with that said, would you guys at least, can we do a letter of support?
We do, definitely.
So just a motion to give Main Street a letter of support for the grant application and permission to replace the cooler at the soccer.
Yeah, we have a motion.
I motion to provide letter of support for all that.
All in favor, say aye.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I second.
Okay.
Now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So I have,
You can write all this letter.
some of them, most of them,
Did you say Ross or RMC?
Ross. RNC would be a good one too. It's a nice dollar amount for that, because those grant, they like to about like $1,000 to $2,000.
And it's gonna probably be a $2,000.
Yeah.
To take.
You know, and I've even suggested to Cammy that, you know, I think the park board might be willing to throw, you know, if we throw $200 in and, you know, they throw $200 in and.
We did
soccer
talk
teams.
about, so whoever's looking at pricing and orders, we talked about wanting the clear front though, because it
Yes.
helps with concessions, if people can
Yes.
see in there and go, I want that Gatorade or, you know, whatever,
Yeah,
so.
I think that's.
Cammy and I talked,
And locking.
yes,
Yes.
yes, and-
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That way
clear
if
front
some-
locking mechanism
Yep.
is key.
Yep, that's what we talked about as well.
Okay. We talked about, there's some dissent among the troops about not doing the basketball court now. I did a quick research of the patronicity grant. They will match up to $50,000, or they will do a $50,000 project if we find $25,000 in the community. It's a GoFundMe kind of thing. Patronicity doesn't match the IHSD. Does that sound right?
IHC, Indian Housing and Community Development.
They do the match, and so if we raise $25,000, they would match the $25,000. We've done that before, and there was something at Heritage Point that I can't remember exactly.
I think that's a good idea, because it keeps us from going back to council for like phase 2 of this, and, you know, we're gonna wanna go to probably the community foundation again, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But if we
What
can,
do we need to do
so basketball.
I don't think
It's
there was-
$100,000.
Okay, so.
We
that
need
gets us-
100,000 for the basketball too. Okay, I was thinking it was 50 for each. And I may be wrong, but I am a loss.
That might be, okay, you're closer, Colin.
Okay.
This one, switch. So they bid it at 50,000 for the basketball courts and 12,000 for striping. So 62.
So,
So if we raise 25 and they match 50, we get there.
if we end up with $50,000, we're really close. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll look into that a little bit further. I don't know what you would have to do. It is basically a GoFundMe. You publicize that to the community that if we raise 25,000, we'll get 25,000 in this match. And I just quick figuring, if 100 families put up 200, or if 250 families put up $100 each, we'd have the 25,000.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like, we put in $100. It's not a lot of money.
That's
If you have a couple teenage
Put it that
boys
way,
that wanna play basketball, girls that wanna play basketball, you just.
Yeah.
So, I'll look into that. That would be something that we would not do until probably construction wise until later,
At this point, I think we'll probably look at next year.
yeah, next spring, that's about too late to.
You know, if we could do something like
I
now,
think we start that campaign now and see if we get
Yeah.
closer and closer and closer to that
you
goal.
know, and the community foundation, I mean, they're in the fall. I mean, that's how we're funding this one, so I think it wouldn't be too far fetched to ask them again, but if we had that to support it too.
Yeah, and then we can just make up the difference.
Yeah. Okay, all right, I'll look into that more. All right.
Need another section of our trail fixed.
Yeah. That's- there we go. Oh, we're gonna do basketball court, well, we need that part.
And I don't wanna talk about this today, but we should put on probably the future agendas, keep it on our radar to be thinking about what we're gonna do in terms of if we wanna do that grant for the equipment, for the exercise equipment, and start talking about where we wanna put that, and getting, figuring out the ADA piece of it and everything.
That was the
Um,
AARP,
Yeah,
that sounds really good, yes.
Yeah. cause I've got like the whole application done, but it was just, we were right down to the wire with like a $10,000 sway, depending on how we would do the stuff, and we weren't 100% sure of what we needed to do to be ADA compliant, and if you're submitting an AARP grant, that's one thing you definitely
Better.
want to ensure. So I just felt like I was kind of sticking my neck out if we submitted it, and I didn't wanna look bad and have to pull back.
So is that next spring then again, or?
So that application usually comes out in like April, but I think we would want to submit a community foundation grant as well, for a portion of it. Because because that grant is only, I think for a project up to like 25,000, but the ADA piece took it over that.
Okay,
So we do not have to talk about it today. I just wanted to put it on our radar for future.
It would
Get
be
back to
nice to
thinking
kind
about
of
that.
plug it into our master plan somewhere.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good first step.
What's going on, there was like a little section kind of marked. Yeah, like see where the proposed parking is right there? What's going on there?
Their baseball's making like a makeshift T-ball field that they're gonna use for the first couple weeks of the season because of the field availability.
Gotcha.
So they kind of marked it off and we're trying to keep it mowed a little
Oh,
better.
okay, gotcha. I just saw some markings and stuff and I thought, what's going on there?
Yeah, this is a temporary place for them to play T-ball.
I kind of think that that corner right, I mean, I think it would be nice to have a couple along the trail, but I also think that that little corner right there is kind of a nice place to put it all together
You talking about
and be able to.
The other-
Almost right where it says proposed previous,
Oh,
like
okay.
kind of in
Yeah.
that section there.
That's it.
Cause I was thinking if somebody's gonna do a boot camp or something, you might almost want that stuff together,
Mhm.
you know? And I think,
The more I think about it.
yeah, I originally liked the idea of spreading it on the trail, but then it's only gonna be able to be on one side, cause it's not ideal about the soccer side. And I think if you were like in workout mode, walk around to that point, sit down, do your arms, your legs, your whatever, and then keep on going,
Mhm.
Right.
you know?
And you know it'll happen, then do something.
Yeah, come back, and, yeah,
Mhm.
It'll
I don't
be
know.
easier to upkeep, it's all.
yeah,
Probably easier to build too.
yeah. Yeah, I think I've changed my way of thinking on that too. And I think that corner right there is not too heavily populated, you're gonna have less kids climbing on it. If,
Yeah.
you know, instead of, if you put it over the park
Right.
on either side, the kids stuff, it's gonna be,
And we've about built out the soccer field side. With
right,
the stuff we got.
so, food for thought.
Okay. Anything else? We're good? Somebody move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn?
Second, all in favor? Aye. Adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
All right.